In this video, I'll be explaining relational logical operators and control flow. On the agenda, I'll explain relational logical operators. I'll show examples of relational logical operators. I'll explain control flow and show an example of control flow. The relational logical operators. The relational operators are made up of greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal to symbols. Relational operators perform element-by-element comparison between two arrays that return a logical array of the same size with elements set to logical 1 equal true, where the relation is true, and elements set to logical 0 equal false, determining the relation is false. So if the output is 1 when using any of these syntax between two variables, it equals true, and if any of the output between using syntax between two variables equals 0, it equals false. Variables in MATLAB have true or falsehood values as opposed to numerical values or string values are called Boolean variables, a variable with true or false value. MATLAB can handle logical statements. I'll show you that in examples later. The AND operator and OR operator can operate on arrays. By doing this, it finds logical result between array or a scalar's input. If you see two AND symbols or two OR symbols, this could be a short circuit version for which the second operand is evaluated only when the first result is not fully determined by the first operand. These can only be operated on scalars, not arrays. The two expressions must each be valid MATLAB statements that evaluates to a scalar's logical result for a short circuit to be even used. The NOT operation represented by this little squiggly symbol. It's by finding logical result of an array or scalar's input. The XOR is an exclusive OR when using like logical operators, so you can also use XOR instead of OR, either way. The ALL function determines if all array elements are non-zero or true. The any function determines if any array elements are non-zero, and the find indices and value of non-zero elements. Example of relation and logical operators. Over here in the command window, I typed in variable 1 is set equal to 3. Notice how this is only one equal sign, so I'm just setting the variable equal to 3. If I had 2, it would just be comparing the two variables that I want, seeing that if they are both equal to each other or not. So I set variable 1 equal to 3 and variable 2 equal to 7. So I said variable 1 is less than variable 2. So the output in the command window was 1, so stating that this is true. Down here I put variable 1 is greater than variable 2, and the output in the command window was 0, stating that this is false. So MATLAB can handle these logical statements, as you can see. Down here I put 7 is equal, with the two equal symbols showing that is 7 equal to 7. And the answer, the output was 1, so this is true. Over here, I show the OR function being used between matrix A and matrix B, which is comparing these two arrays with the OR, and then out here is the output of the true and false, but between the two arrays. Over here, I'm just using the AND function, just pretty much substituting the OR, and between the two arrays, it just comes out with the true and false between matrix A and matrix B. Down here, I'm using the NOT. So it's the squiggly line behind the variable, and it's just showing that any ones that are equal to 0 come out as true, and anything not equal to 0 comes out as false. So you can see here that 0 right here comes out as true. 29 obviously is not 0, so it comes out as false, and you can see here 0, true. 36 is not equal to 0, so it comes out as false. Down here I just showed an example of the ALL function being used behind variables. Alright, control flow. This is MATLAB's language of syntax. So in this over here, if else and else statement, execute statements if condition is true. For execute statements a specific number of times. The switch case and otherwise statement switch among several cases based on its expression. The try-catch statement executes statements and catches resulting errors. The while statement repeatedly executes statements while the condition is true. I'll show an example of that later. The break statement terminates execution of a for or while loop. Continue is a pass control to the next iteration of a for or while loop. End terminates the block of code or indicates that it's the last index of the array. Pause halts an execution temporarily, and when you're doing a lot of code. Return, it just returns the invoking function. Example of control flow. Over here I'm using the if else, and else statement, and you can see how I ended it. I ended the block of code right here, which is end, and then I ended the for loop right here with another end, and then I ended the complete code. So that just terminates that the whole code is done. Over here, the switch case, so any case that is -1, it display -1. Instead of just having -1 as the output, it just displays -1. And down here, we have a try-catch example. And over to the left, we have a while loop. So I'm going to explain a while loop. It's while the variable or the condition is going through. If it is less than LE equal to LE 100, then it will go through this loop and redo it again. But if it does not come out as being less than this over here, then it will just completely end the line of code. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you